Today's episode is brought to you by the folks over at SeatGeek, the best and easiest to use ticket platform out there. They take the confusion out of buying tickets using a 0 to 10 scoring system and a green is good, red is bad color rating system so you and your loved ones get the best deal possible. So whether it's going to see our beloved Redlegs at Great American Ballpark, the Bengals over at Paycor, FC Cincinnati, one of the area college teams, or pretty much anything in between, use promo code Riverfront at checkout and receive $20 off your first order. Click the link in the show notes to download the app and get started. That's Riverfront, one word, for $20 off.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? And welcome to this week's edition of NBA Friday, part of the Riverfront U Network, our passion project show, where us three dingleberry heads just want to talk about the National Basketball Association. And that's all we want to do. Dingleberry was the wrong word there, guys. I apologize. I meant to say dings. But whatever. We're going to roll with it. It's the Riverfront. We're uncensored.
Dingleberries.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm Tim Daniel. As you can see, tonight's episode is unofficially sponsored by Woodford Reserve. So shout outs.
There you go.
Yep. Joining me as always, actually back this week. He was not with us last week because of Thanksgiving. Celebrating his birthday this week. So we made the episodes birthday centric for him, of course. Sean Mackey. How are you, pal?
Good. Good to be here, man.
Good to be here. Yeah. What a birthday. A big one.
It was, man. This is 40.
This is 40. And we're not talking about the Judd
40,
Apatow movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And also here, as always, you can check him out every week or every day, even on his YouTube channel at Fields Focus to get all of your best prop bets for the day. He has it for prize picks, but I use them on FanDuel and I win money most of the time. So I appreciate it. Parker Fields, how are you, pal?
Doing pretty good, Tim. Happy to be here. Let's talk some NBA.
We are going to talk some NBA today. So, like we said, this is the Sean-centric episode because it is his birthday and we're going to celebrate. So we're going to start the show with our current segment talking about the Orlando Magic. Our flashback segment, we're going to go back in time to old 2008, one of the greatest college basketball seasons of all time, where we saw two of the greatest college point guards of all time come out in the same draft and talk about how their careers correlated, being Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook. Then our starting five fantasy draft is a fascinating one because I had a hard time putting together a pipeline of players for this one. It is the all-time best players 6 feet and under. So we have a fun show for you today. But let's go ahead and get started to jump and let's just play the song, guys, shall we?
Please.
That's right, folks. Coming into this weekend with an 8-game win streak down at the Amway Center in beautiful, my favorite city in the world, Orlando, Florida. It is the Orlando Magic, and they are not just good, young, good, like, oh, this is cute. This team's good. I think we're at the point now where we can say this team's good. And I thought I noticed it Friday when they played the Celtics and the in-season tournament game. And that was a game they had to win to stay alive. They ended up making their next round by any means, but like they needed everything they possibly could in that game. And when they had a chance to take the Celtics out of it, they did it. And I was blown away, impressed by them. I think when we talked about this team again in the year, we're like, yeah, they're going to be better. They're going to improve. They're going to have a lot of fun. They're going to be really fun to watch. Probably a play-in team. I think this is officially a playoff team. I really think this is a team that is a playoff team. Not just like, oh, we might get one of these last 4 spots. Like this team may have home court advantage in the first round. It's a strong possibility. Paolo and Franz are awesome together. I thought they'd be pretty good. This team's without Wendell Carter right now and looks really good without him. They're once again without the magical injuries of Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac. That has not bothered this team a bit. Jalen Suggs. I love Jalen Suggs because that dude cares, right? Like that dude just wears his shirt on his sleeve. They lose that Laker game where he misses the game-winning shot, and he is just beside himself. Like, I know I could have made it. And they go, of course, the next time they play the Lakers, they destroy them. Parker and I talked about Anthony Black last week and how much we really like what he's done. This is a good basketball team. I think they're well coached with Jamal Mosley. Sean, obviously, this is a team you said, like, I'm breaking up with the Bulls. I'm marrying the Magic. You're wearing the gear today. Let's talk about it.
He's wearing the gear.
I should have broke out one of my Magic jerseys.
Tom has
Gotta-
fully
gotta-
dove into Magic.
Gotta wear the homage Penny Hardaway shirt
Mhm.
and the vintage. So this is so Parker, this was the same exact Orlando Magic hat that I bought in 1995 at a Walmart in Orlando, Florida, when the Magic were playing the
Such a
Rockets
great
in the NBA
logo.
Finals.
Just
And
an
that is
elite
amazing.
logo.
So I found the exact same hat online for I think $17 with the tags on it. So here we are back with the same. I don't know what happened to my old one. I keep everything and like I don't have that hat anymore for some reason. So I am so excited about this team. I'm so glad that they're there. Also, can we talk about Mo Wagner having a great game the other night against the Celtics? Like just a stellar performance. I
Cole
love
Anthony
the
last night off the bench,
Wagner's
25.
How about the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade homage? The other
Yeah, that was
night?
cool.
That was incredible and so fun. Like this team, besides that, they're not a super flashy team. They're not. This isn't Shaq and Penny era, or even Dwight and Jameer or Hedo Turkoglu, all those guys. But
I would take Rashard Lewis over Hedo Turkoglu, but go on.
I know. But this is a team that is young. They have good players. They have a future right now. They kind of remind me a little bit of the Reds. I'm not going to lie. They got a lot of good pieces. And there's an upward trajectory right now. And the East is weird right now. It's really weird. I don't think there's I mean, the Celtics are good, obviously. Bucks are kind of weird defensively right now. But I think there's a lot of room for some teams to sneak in this year. And we talked about them being a play-in team at the beginning of the season, and they're playing like they care. I am just
they
so
care.
thrilled.
They care.
Yeah. And that's good. That's what you should do. And this is also just a playbook on how to run a young team right now and see what they can give. And I know we're kind of putting the cart before the horse here, but this is a team that could make a little bit of a run, might be a decent veteran away from, doing some serious damage. And like you said, Tim, Palo and Franz together have been great. I mean, can you believe that the Golden State Warriors passed up Franz Wagner at this point? This is just like,
I remember we did a mock draft episode on the old channel, that draft, and I took Franz Wagner to the Warriors, and I got legitimate text messages from people that are like, they have no interest in him. They don't want him. They're not taking him. And I talked to my buddy, the Warriors scout. I was like, what about Franz? He's like, maybe if he's there, we might think about it.
yeah.
They wanted Suggs really bad that draft, and they still didn't take it.
Yeah.
But so, looks bad now.
Thrilled. Yeah, it's one of those ones that looks bad now, and I don't know. I'm excited for the future of this team. Looking, ahead at their next. Let's see here, next couple games they've got here. It looks like they got the Wizards tomorrow night. Chalk them up for a win tomorrow.
9 in a row, right there, baby.
That's happening. The 3 and what are they? The 3-15 Washington Wizards. Terrible.
Warriors.
Washington Warriors. You know what I meant. And then they got the Nets the next game. So this could be a nice little win streak for them. I mean, even look, they got a couple games against the Cavs, they got a game against the Pistons, and they got 2 games against the Celtics in mid-December, which is not great. And then they got a Bucks game a couple days later.
They're not afraid of the Celtics. They're not afraid of those guys at all. They are the roll the ball out.
Well,
and check up and let's go.
Well, and I mean, you look at that team that the Celtics rolled out that night. I mean, they were, it was the full squad pretty much. So it's, there was no excuse to be losing to Orlando. But I don't know, man. How are you feeling about this team, Parker?
With this Magic team, I think they're really solid overall, really good. I mean, and they don't even have Markelle Fultz right now. He's been missing time, and that's their point guard of their team. Suggs has really taken a step this year. Like, I was not very high on Jalen Suggs whatsoever
Same.
after his first 2 years in the league. And now I'm back on the Suggs hype train. I think Suggs is a really solid player now. I think he can be a really solid player for the Magic, and I've been really impressed by that team overall, especially just the leap Franz Wagner's taken. Again, like, this guy,
Mhm.
I think after his rookie year, when he had a really, really good rookie year, we were kind of like, yeah, but like, is he really going to become like a star? Like, we were kind of like, but like, I mean, at this point, he's probably going to be an all-star this year. He's
Yeah.
probably going to be an all-star.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, so they're doing this without Wendell Carter, without Jonathan Isaac, which that's just like every week for them. You know, like he's played like 12 games this year. Markelle Fultz has played 5, and without Markelle Fultz, so that's really impressive. Joe Ingles finding some like splash of youth on this team. I love that Cole Anthony called them Joe Ingles and his grandkids is how they refer to the team. I really enjoyed that. That made me laugh. They're just like, you know, Cole Anthony is who, you know, everything you heard about Cole Anthony coming out of North Carolina was like, he's a bad teammate. He's all about Cole. He doesn't care about anything. Jamal Mosley comes in, is like, you're coming off the bench as our backup point guard. And he's like, cool. And he's awesome at it. I mean, really, really
he's
good
a
at it.
great 6-man. He
is.
6-man.
Mhm.
He's like,
you don't usually see like a young guy become a 6-man like early. Like, that's going to be their role type thing. And he has, and he's been awesome at it.
I think Kobe White is like a guy who would be an incredible 6-man, but that's a different story. Cole Anthony is doing everything Kobe White should be doing, but this is not
Didn't you
Kobe
end up
White's
betting
fault.
on Kobe White to win the 6-man of the year?
I did.
Or were you thinking about it?
Whoa.
I did. But I thought they would be
He
bad.
said this on the show before.
I thought they'd be bad. I didn't think they'd be a dumpster fire, and that's a different conversation. But actually, it kind of leads into so I know a lot of people look at those teams and are like, well, they got to make a move. They have to make a trade. And I'm open to them making a trade. I don't think it's something they necessarily have to do, but I did come up with one trade I really liked for them.
Who do you think has to?
Who do I think, like, what team has to make a trade?
No, who are you saying? Are you talking about the Magic or the Bulls right now?
The Magic.
Is what I'm at. Yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about the Bulls. I was like, you don't think they need to blow it up?
Oh, buddy. No.
That's what, okay. I don't think the Magic need to make a trade at all. I don't. Okay.
So I have a good one. I have a good one here that I was going to run by you guys. So let me go ahead.
Let's do it.
And
let's go.
It involves the Bulls, of course, but
Yep.
I don't think they're a team that should go get Zach LaVine. I think that's a dumb move for them. But what about DeMar DeRozan for Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz, who don't play basketball anyway? So what's the point of having them on your team? You drop $34 million. You're actually gaining $6 million on the cap. You just got to give up 2 first rounders for DeMar DeRozan, who is a proven, you know, you can say what you will about his tenure in Chicago. That guy's been in the playoffs 90% of his season, 90% of his career. And I think he'd be a really good vet who can score for this team and give them what they need. So, am I out of pocket?
No, I love it.
No, I don't think so. I think that definitely could make sense and could work for both teams there.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you're the Bulls, that's $34 million you got to take on for a year.
Only thing I got there. My only criticism is Paolo is very much a mid-range scorer as well. Neither of them are great from behind the arc, and I don't know about the spacing with that. And Jalen Suggs is not a great knockdown shooter either. Neither is Markelle Fultz. I just don't know about the spacing.
Markelle Fultz is going to the Bulls.
Sorry. I'm blanking. Yeah. No, yeah.
Well, my only criticism with that, I don't see him giving up 2 first picks for that.
Well,
he's expiring.
If you noticed, I put the 24 and 26 in because those 2 drafts are weak. 25, there's no way anyone's giving up. There's no way if you're like a projected lottery team, you're giving up your 25 first rounder because that draft is insane. But I think for a deal like that, like for DeMar, I don't think 2 first rounders is going to hurt you. I know he hasn't been great this year for that team specifically. I understand where Parker's coming from. I would counter that by majority of the rest of the team does shoot threes pretty well. Ingles, Cole Anthony is okay. He's not great.
Yeah, he's a great scorer though. He's more of a
Franz is a good 3-point shooter. So I think it could work. I doubt it happens. I'm not sitting here like this is going to be a thing. But I really do think that could be a good fit for them. You know, someone like that, like I know we're all going to say Alex Caruso can fit there. Alex Caruso can fit everywhere. So
Yeah,
let's just go ahead and
you
get
can.
that. Yeah. So maybe Orlando's not going to give the Bulls the best package possible in that circumstance. You mentioned Philly a couple weeks ago, Sean. I think that's like the perfect fit for him.
Yeah.
But if I'm Orlando, I just think that like I would love to have some veteran guy who's been in the trenches for this team, and Joe Ingles ain't that because he has been on really good Jazz teams that always got lost early in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think like a guy like DeMar who probably could, I know is like, we can run this back, we'll be fine, and it's like, buddy, like you're not fine. Like you and Zach LaVine are both hurt tonight, okay, right? Like let's relax. But yeah, I think DeMar could be a good fit. I'm trying to think of like other teams who probably like I don't know, like I don't think Kyle Kuzma is a good Magic. I don't think that's a good move for them.
No.
Siakam for
No.
sure, but like you're probably giving up too much for him.
I don't actually. Kuzma, I'm curious to see like if he could like transition back into like Lakers Kuzma or like if he's stuck in Washington Kuzma mode now, like 25 a game, like in his head. I'm wondering if in his head he's like an all-star player now.
Yeah, when people are like putting out this like free Kyle Kuzma stuff, I'm like, no. No.
I mean, you look at Kyle Kuzma's
He's like
numbers
right
and
below
everything, and
all-star level talent.
Yeah.
Like he's skilled. He's really skilled and stuff. But
I look at him same way I looked at a very good sort of good player from the 2000s, Kevin Martin, who was just stuck out in Sacramento for a very long time, and I'll never know if Kevin Martin was a great player or not because I know he ended up getting traded, I think, to the Rockets or something by the time he was at the end of his career, and it was not great. And he just I really do think he was a bad team, good stats guy.
So, Tyrese Halliburton, listen to this.
Go for it.
28 points in the first half tonight. Bro,
he's a dog.
He's incredible.
2 minutes to go in the third quarter. He's got 33 points and 7 assists. Is he the best offensive guard in the NBA right now?
Right now, yes.
I think
like,
so too.
Based off how he's playing right now, yes. Obviously, like Steph Curry, in my opinion, is still better than him, but like just how he's playing right now, yeah.
So the All-Star game's in Indy this year.
Well,
he's starting for the East. He's starting.
De'Aaron Fox, guys. Let's not.
De'Aaron Fox is close. I texted Tim this, and I was like, call me crazy. De'Aaron Fox is a top 10 player in the NBA, and I don't even think I would go to my grave with that right now.
Do you guys know how
good.
De'Aaron Fox is averaging 30.7 points a game and 5 assists, shooting 36% from the 3-point line and 48% from the field this season? So that's insane.
I would put him. By the way, Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox were teammates for a very short time.
Were they? They were. Duh. I forgot.
It's just the only thing about that, like, yes, in hindsight, yes.
The trade needed to happen.
He's a better player than Sabonis, but for Fox to become Fox, it needed to happen.
Right. I agree.
And
I agree.
I will say this. I was always right on this. Everybody used to shit on De'Aaron Fox, how he was good stats, bad team guy. He used to get rid of. I always thought he was going to be good. I always thought he was going to get good.
When he was playing with Kentucky, it was evident that he was going to be
that draft. I was at Sean's house, so Sean and I were together at that draft, which we're going to get into something here in a second about. But when the Bulls were shopping Butler, one of the rumored teams besides Minnesota was the Kings to move up and get that pick. And I was like, yes, I want De'Aaron Fox in the Bulls. And this is before before I realized like they had no player development whatsoever. So hear me out. So cut me some slack here for a second. So of course, like the deal happens with Minnesota and it doesn't happen then. I'm like, okay, well, I'd like to get Malik Monk, which at the time probably didn't look very good. Now looks very good. And of course they draft Lauri Markkanen, and it was the most defeated room I'd ever been in on an NBA draft night. It was just like, everyone was just like, and don't be wrong, he ended up being really good once he left Chicago.
He was really good with Chicago his first 2 years after, remember, because people were thinking he was going to be an all-star. And then that third and fourth year, it was like, oh, what? And then goes to the Jazz, and he's he was on the Cavs and he wasn't good there. And then
and they say when people say coaching doesn't matter in the NBA,
it's huge,
right? Exactly.
Where you get drafted is so big to how good you're going to turn out. I don't care what anybody says. That is so important to how you're going to turn out as a player.
talking about the segment we're on, I think Anthony Black's a perfect example of that because yes, Markelle Fultz had to get hurt for him to get more time, but that guy has fit in seamlessly to what Orlando wants. He's just like a two-way dog. He's not going to go out there and score like 36 points, but he's going to make the point guard. He's going to make the guy that has the ball miserable all night. And he's going to make sure he does everything he can to put his effect in the game. And I think he just got his braces off. Like, I'm pretty sure like in the last 2 weeks, he doesn't have braces anymore.
No, he is the youngest looking NBA player I've ever seen.
Yeah, he is,
ever seen.
Sure.
Like he looks so young.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. All right, so should we close out the segment and go to the next one?
Go for it.
All right, well, let's close it out with this. It's the greatest arena song of all time.
I feel like if that was like played at like a punk show, you might actually mosh for that, Tim.
I would. I absolutely would.
Hey,
you would just like that there be throwing fists.
I wanted to ask you guys a question real quick before we get away from talking about like current NBA real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask, when do you think the dumpster fire will begin for the Bulls? Like, do you think they're going to wait till the trade deadline? Because they're horrible.
Begin?
Yeah, when define begin, Parker.
Begin? What are you talking
about? When are they
going
to start? When are they going to make the first trade?
Probably January 16th when the whole league's available.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. I think it's going to be Levine.
We'll go first.
And tank the team into the ground right now. Just go ahead and just tank the team into the ground and see what you can get.
Agreed.
What was the reasoning for them being out tonight? Do you guys know?
Feet.
What?
No.
They had foot problems.
No.
Both of them?
Me too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there was like a picture, and so there's a still in the Bulls Celtics game this past week where like just perfectly sums up the Bulls season. Jaylen Brown has like a poster, and you just see Zach LaVine looking the other direction, just like.
Oh, that is the greatest. That is the greatest picture ever. I want that on my wall.
I did
like
too.
That encapsulates the entire season so far for Chicago.
Well, we talked about this tonight in the Slack, the Riverfront Patreon Slack, where I was kind of talking about like, different LaVine teams, and obviously the Lakers come up all the time. But I was like, why wouldn't Golden State be a good fit for him? And a lot of people are like, I'm like, look what Klay Thompson's doing right now. You think Zach LaVine couldn't do that? Like, right, exactly. And I'm like. And I think like there's this conversation going around. It's like, well, LaVine's not a winning player. And maybe you're right. Maybe he's not. But what chances he had to prove he is? Minnesota, when he was there, that team was atrocious. And then he goes to Chicago and they have one little run for 2 months where they look very, very good because Lonzo Ball's healthy. So like maybe he's not. And there's a good chance he's not. And I'm not saying anyone's wrong with that take, but like put him in a system that wants to win and see what he can do. And maybe Golden State's a team for that. Wouldn't the Bulls be happy if they got Jonathan Kuminga and a pick for him in this draft and then some more because of the money? But I think the Bulls would be happy if they came out with like Kuminga and a couple picks or something.
Yeah. I'd take it.
Mm-hmm. But yes, Parker, I think the Lakers are going to end up with one of the three.
I think they're getting Caruso. I think.
I do too.
You think Caruso's going to be happy too?
Yes.
Go back to the Lakers.
Yeah, I do. Because like I also think it's best for him. Because then he can kind of take it a little easier. Where like Chicago, everything's up to him defensively. So he's like max effort every night. In Los Angeles, you obviously have Cam Reddish, who's played good defense for them so far. I don't think Reddish should be in the trade. And then obviously you have Anthony Davis behind you, who's probably, when he wants to be, the best defender in the NBA. Yeah. Though Mobley's climbing up there. He's played. I know the Cavs lost tonight to Portland, but he's been really, really good for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. I agree with you. When Anthony Davis is engaged, he's the best defender in basketball. It depends on the night, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not discouraged by them losing to Oklahoma City tonight because Oklahoma City is 1 good, 2 it's the second game of a back-to-back.
They're on the road.
Yeah, I was like really like gung ho about to say the Cavs are going to go on a run, and they lost tonight. So thanks a lot, jerks.
Lost to the Trailblazers. I know.
Yeah, I think my Scoot Henderson pick is not looking very good right now. I think he might stink.
What's old Scoot averaging this year?
I don't know if he's average.
Actually, Tim, I was encouraged tonight. He played well. The stats are not good. He went 1 for 8 shooting, I promise you, but he was creating a lot of open looks for his teammates. I was watching the game before he
good.
got on here. He was creating a lot of open shots. Like, he shot horribly, but he had 7 assists tonight in 22 minutes. Like, and he had a lot of hockey assists too. He was creating a ton of opportunities. Now his jump shot is horrible.
Yes, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But I'm really curious to see what Brandon Miller is going to look like with LaMelo out for a little while. He might end up being the lead ball handler. Is it going to be Ish Smith?
Like, is it going to be Ish Smith? Yeah, seriously. Like, is that Ish Smith is still in the league? He's crazy. He's
been like 19th team. Like,
yeah, like that's insane that he's still in the league at this point. Like, shout out Ish Smith, man.
For sure. Yeah,
Keep getting them paychecks.
Yeah. Have you guys seen? We'll get to the next segment here in a second, but you guys just have me think about things. Have you guys seen this team in the G League? It's like the G League super team. It's the Mexico City team.
Is it the team with Michael Carter Williams?
Yes, Michael Carter Williams, Juan Toscano Anderson. It's like loaded with all the NBA players. They're just going down there and just wrecking people in the G League. It's kind of fun.
Just dominating the G League, dominating a bunch of young kids, and they're all like 30-year-old vets from the
yeah.
One's a former Rookie of the Year.
One's a former NBA champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Former Lakers bench warmer too.
Yeah, very short time. Very short time.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So we're gonna go ahead and get to our flashback segment here, and I really wanted to get to this one because I wanted to remember better days with the Bulls, because at one point there was good times for them that wasn't in the 90s. Very, very brief, but it was there. And this is going to go back to the Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook draft. And I really wanted to talk about this draft particularly because I think a lot of people kind of remember this but they don't remember like how sick that draft class was going into. So that college basketball season is like insane. That college basketball season rules. So Michael Beasley's putting up 39 points a game. It felt like at Kansas State. Russell Westbrook is in his sophomore year. That's the thing people forget. He didn't play much his freshman year. So gets a chance to play his second year at UCLA. They go to the Final Four, lose to Memphis, who has Derrick Rose. And that UCLA team also has trivia question. Do you guys remember who UCLA beat in the Elite Eight?
I don't remember.
I was like 5.
It was Xavier. They
Xavier?
ran.
Was that the 2 Holloway Xavier?
No, that was shortly after.
That was before.
That was before. Sorry,
I was about to say that was before. That had to be before because I remember 2 Holloway. That's why I was like that had to be before.
Yeah, it was Sean, one of Sean's last teams before he went to Arizona.
I was about to say 2 Holloway was one of my first favorite athletes.
Oh, he was awesome.
I loved him in college. I remember he was one of my first favorite players I had when I was a kid.
So there's what's so fascinating about that draft that I really wanted to get to. So as Sean and I can attest and talk about, the Bulls win that lottery. It's one of the major times where it was a lottery fix because they had less than, I think it was like a little over 1% chance at winning the lottery that year. Mm-hmm. And they win it. So they get Rose, obviously. Westbrook is the last pick in Seattle Sonics history, but never plays a game for the Seattle Sonics because they make the deal on the team like a month later. I think, yeah. And they're like, we're going to be called the Thunder and have these generic jerseys that they haven't changed.
No,
Jesus
they're
Christ.
Still the same.
The worst
still
jerseys.
Running those.
Yeah, maybe the worst. I
think they've always looked like they're not NBA jerseys. Like they're just you know what I mean? Like they look like they're some generic league jersey. Like they've just with a name like the Thunder, put some lightning on there. Yeah. Also, total missed opportunity not to call your stadium the Thunderdome.
Yeah, agree.
You know?
I used to love those navy blue ones they had back in the day with the white. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those old school Thunder jerseys. Yeah, I used to love those.
So I pulled up. I wanted to kind of a few things here I wanted to talk about. So I pulled up Bill Simmons' draft diary that he used to do on Grantland. from this draft.
Ooh, Grantland. Missed that place.
And it says some really funny like little things in there. And here's one. He goes, Andy Katzenborg, Chicago will definitely take Derrick Rose first. Love when that happens. I can't wait for him to report later that Bill Simmons is going to wake up tomorrow, put on his glasses, and make a pot of coffee. Jay Billis calls Rose a special talent, followed by Van Gundy calling Michael Beasley a special talent, and Mark Jackson calling OJ Mayo a special basketball player. And then Billis agreeing that Beasley is a special talent. That's why Rose went ahead of Beasley and Mayo. He's more of a special basketball player and a special talent. He's a special talent. Anyways, that was a special sequence. Chicago takes Rose first, followed by the requisite super awkward shot of the Bulls war room, applauding like someone just gave a bad best man speech. Why don't the people in the draft orbs ever know how to properly celebrate a great pick? They're even worse at celebrating than PGA golfers and their caddies. Meanwhile, Billis tells us Rose is a world-class athlete. For God's sake, let's hope so. He's the first pick of the NBA draft. Does this mean Costa Koufos is a North American class athlete? I thought that was really, really funny.
That's funny.
So I think when you look at this draft, it's so fascinating to me because it's not like Durant Oden, right? Like Durant Oden, you're like, you could have gone either way and it went the opposite way of what like ended up happening, right? Like there was no like, I would take Westbrook over Rose in this draft because of what it was at the time. Now hindsight, yeah, absolutely. You might take Westbrook first overall in that redraft. You probably do come to think of it. But at that time, I thought it was like this really fascinating thing with these two guys who were like, had these really parallel careers. Even when Rose gets hurt, and those times when the Bulls and the Thunder would play each other, he was super like, I'm playing Russell Westbrook. He's my buddy. I'm playing hard. And I just always thought that this was like a really fascinating thing because of how their careers panned out and how people like reflect on them, but how freaking good these dudes were coming into the NBA.
Oh, so good. Both of them. And I don't know if you remember like the meetings that they had, you know, when Westbrook and Rose would play each other, they really, really went at each other in the beginning. And even today, like, I mean, they don't play each other often, anything. I feel like the rivalry still kind of comes out a little bit, even if they run into each other, like on, you know, their random teams that they're on now, they still kind of go at each other. And I think they both kind of respect each other's games. They were so similar to I think Westbrook, I think part of the reason Westbrook had such of a chip on his shoulder was because Derrick Rose got so much attention those first couple of seasons and ended up winning the MVP. So, which let's be honest, like his MVP run would never happen today because we're looking at Tyrese Halliburton, we're looking at, you know, De'Aaron Fox right now, and
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey. There's all these players that are so good right now, but there's just no shot of them winning the MVP right now. I mean, it is just, I mean, we're looking Jokic, you know,
right?
Big men.
Yeah, and to think about, so Westbrook goes fourth in this draft. So the guys taken between him are Michael Beasley and OJ Mayo. Shout out North College Hill. So Michael Beasley's taken by the Heat in this draft, which is like the polar opposite of Heat culture as we know it, right? Like
literally, that's like literally the opposite of anybody they would draft in today's age and everything.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted Rose so bad. I mean, they were making offer after offer to try to trade up and get him, and the Bulls weren't budging on it.
Nor should they have been.
No.
So you mentioned like these dudes would just go at each other when they play. And I think it's kind of fascinating because if you look at what these two have done, their careers are pretty similar. Again, accolade wise, we know Westbrook's had the better career. We know Westbrook's a Hall of Famer. Like we know, Westbrook's MVP with the triple double, but they both have questionable MVPs that people debate to this day if they should have won it. They both were 1 seeds on teams that were very young and just like kind of played over their heads for a little while. Obviously Westbrook just doesn't miss games and Rose misses them at the drop of a hat, but just that level of athleticism. So Sean, you mentioned like those guys like them don't win the MVP anymore, but you can see the after effects of these players still in the NBA. You look at a John Morant, like just like aggressive, attack the rim. I'm going to try to jump over everybody.
Perfect comparison there.
Yeah, and I think no, Derrick Rose will probably not get in the Hall of Fame and probably doesn't deserve it.
No.
But what he's brought to basketball means so much still.
Yeah,
Well,
in terms, the play style, agreed.
Well, and on top of that, just how much he did for the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
Being from there, being a hometown guy and everything, coming from the South Side and being able to play onto that team. I think, you look at the career, accolades of Russell Westbrook versus Derrick Rose. It's not even close. I mean, Russell Westbrook has been, 9-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star MVP, 5-time NBA second team, third team, all rookie team. He's been the scoring champion 2 years. He's led in assists 3 years. I mean, and he was the most valuable player. I mean, he's had a fantastic career. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer for sure. I mean, Derrick Rose, sadly not, but yeah, both of the way that you guys said it, comparing it to like the way that they've kind of paved the way for like the modern guard, I think is still relevant.
Agreed. And I think with Westbrook, I mean, like, honestly, truly, I think Westbrook had the higher peak and the better longevity, honestly. Like, I think Westbrook's peak was still higher than Rose's. I think Rose won an MVP that, for one, like you said that he wouldn't win that today's age, but also like the game was just so different back then, the way they played and stuff. Like that whole Bulls team would be horrible in today's NBA. That team would be awful in today's NBA. Like,
can you imagine like Luol Deng having to guard like
Luol Deng was a multi-time All-Star back in the early 2010s.
Yeah, he was.
Like that, like, I don't know. And Westbrook he lasted longer. He had a better peak as well. At this point, they're honestly kind of similar roles. They're just backup point guards. Westbrook, I mean, is still more
team.
Westbrook's still definitely more effective, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's crazy that these people from 2008, like that's that long ago, that these guys are really like towards the end of their career, probably going to be retiring in the next couple seasons.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Kevin Love's in that draft, and we've talked.
I thought Kevin Love was going to retire after last year, honestly.
I did too, and then he goes to Miami, goes on a little bit of a run to the finals with them, and yeah, that guy. Every time he's been in the playoffs, they've gone to the finals.
Blake was in that draft, right? He was the first pick, right?
No, Rose was the first pick. So
I'm thinking 09 draft is Blake. I'm tripping. He was in the DeRozan.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no. He's in the Blake is in the James Harden.
That's the DeRozan draft.
Oh yeah,
that's the DeRozan too. DeRozan, Drew Holiday, all those guys. I just said DeRozan first for some reason, but yeah.
So this is not a bad draft. So I'm gonna read this off. Rose, Beasley, Mayo, Westbrook, Love is the top 5. You go Danilo Gallinari, who is still in the league.
That's a pick that people don't realize. Like, that guy scored a shit ton of points in the NBA. He's been a really solid player for a long time.
Eric Gordon, who also is from Chicago, who also, if he doesn't get hurt, God only knows what his career looks like because he came out slinging.
Yeah.
Joe Alexander, whatever. DJ Augustine, Brooke Lopez, Jared Bayless, Jason Thompson, Brandon Rush, Anthony Randolph, Robin Lopez, Mo Spates, Roy Hibbert, JaVale McGee, JJ Hickson, the Amari blocker. That's your top 20. That's not a bad draft.
I mean, but even if you look at some of the later draft picks, there was Ryan Anderson, who was really decent for a while. Courtney Lee, who was Serge Ibaka, was in this draft. Yeah, Courtney Lee was great. And then
Courtney Lee was on that Western Kentucky team that went on a run.
And then you get into the second round, DeAndre Jordan, Omar Ashik, who had a couple good years, CDR, who did not.
I think he changed his name recently to something.
Really? Goran Dragic was also towards the end of this draft. He's in it. And then one other player that I wanted to mention that I was just like, oh man, I forgot all about that guy. And he had a couple of good years. Nikola Pekovic.
Yeah.
Pekovic? Is it Pekovic or Pekovic?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he was a decent player for the Wolves for a couple of years. So
he was.
This is like a draft we don't talk about a whole lot.
Mario Chalmers was in that draft.
Also, yeah. Also, though, we didn't even mention like 5 of these guys are still like valuable rotational pieces in the NBA, and it's 2023. Like Brooke Lopez is still a pretty high level player at this point. Rose is still a serviceable backup. Westbrook's still a good 6-man. Love's still a solid role player. And then there was one more, I think. I think there was 5 that I'm blanking on the 5th one. But like, I mean,
Robin
the 20,
Lopez?
yeah, he's still in the league.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Robin's still there. Yeah.
the 2010 draft, there's only 2 players active still. It's just Paul George and Gordon Hayward. That's
Oh,
it.
wow, that's right.
That's it, because John Wall and Boogie are out.
And that's a
right
good
now.
draft too.
Yeah. Isn't that wild, though? Like, Paul George and Gordon Hayward are the only 2 players from that draft.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah.
So, real quick before we wrap it up, we've already mentioned none of us think Rose is going to the Hall of Fame, and nor probably should he just because of all the injuries. I get in these, you see these debates quite a bit. Should his number be in the Raptors at the United Center? I say yes.
Yeah. I mean, he got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. He ran
into LeBron. Who didn't?
He ran into LeBron. Yeah. I mean, it was peak LeBron too. And they were, I would say that the Bulls team gave them more hell than probably anyone else. I mean, they were yeah. Well, yeah. Particularly JJ Barea.
Yeah.
He dismantled one of the best players of all time.
I don't know how he did it, but he did.
I think they were just like in shock. They were just like frozen. Like, we just gonna let
JJ
this guy walk in? Yep.
Just torching the entire Miami Heat big 3.
Incredible.
Yeah. I'm not saying like build him a statue. Though, like if you did a statue of the Goran Dragic dunk, that would be cool.
Number
But-
needs to be retired.
Yeah, I agree.
It does.
Maybe you can get one of those like busts like Pippen has when you first walk into the United Center. It's just sitting
Nope,
right there.
He doesn't even need a bust. He just needs the jersey retired. I think that's the most they should give him.
I still believe he will end his career with the Bulls some way or another. Whether it's like a 1-day contract or like he
One-day
plays a season with them.
contract.
Yeah.
It'll be a 1-day contract. Yep.
I agree with you. I think Rose ends up a Bull to end the career.
Yeah, I do too. All right, folks, that brings us to our starting 5. And this was Sean's idea. And it's a difficult one.
That's why I did it.
Yeah, I like it. So the idea is your starting 5 is going to be the top basketball players 6 feet and under. So this is going to be a really, really interesting draft because I had to do a lot of research on this, and the guys I have on my board suck. So this is going to be really interesting. I shouldn't say suck. That's not fair to those guys, but
They don't suck.
Yeah.
They can't suck.
So Sean goes first. I go second. Parker has the wraparound. And Sean, whenever you're ready to start, you've got the first pick.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. We're talking best players 6 feet and under. First of all, I'm going with Chris Paul.
Is he 6 even?
He's 6 even, man.
He is.
Let's go, guys.
I mean,
Let's go. One of the greatest point guards of all time.
and Sean wins the draft.
Yep.
That was it.
Automatically.
It's been great,
Yeah.
guys.
I don't think you can top Chris Paul. That's the correct answer.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, so I'm at 2. So I guess I can't really use Iverson because he was technically in the program as 6'1", which is bullcrap.
Yep. He was definitely 5'10".
Yeah, he definitely was 5'10". But I'm gonna go with Calvin Murphy of the Houston Rockets.
Calvin Murphy. Okay, you're gonna go with him. What was he? 5'9"?
Yep.
5'9", and he had let's see here. Best season of all time, averaged 20 points a game, 7 assists, 2 rebounds. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Sure is.
Yep, there we go. That's a good one. And
Yeah.
he is Calvin. Fun fact: this is crazy. Murphy is second all time in points, assists, and steals in Houston Rockets history.
I'll be damned.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. All right. Well, Sean already took the draft, so Parker's got a chance to get himself back in the race here with 2 picks.
All right, so my first pick is going to be a guy who's going to make the Hall of Fame, I'd say. Very likely. He's a 6-time All-Star, NBA champion, Kyle Lowry, 6 foot even. There's better picks for like their peak, but for how long he's been really good and been a solid player, and he's still a solid contributing player in the NBA at this point at almost 40. I got to go Kyle Lowry, a guy who started off his career and wasn't good and was a really late bloomer. But you think he's getting in the Hall of Fame? I think in the NBA Hall of Fame he's getting in. I mean, he's a 6-time All-Star and an NBA champion. He's the best Raptor ever, probably. So, like, for career. So,
Yeah.
I'm going Kyle Lowry. Second pick, I'm going to go with the guy who had the best peak of anybody under 6 foot for one season. I'm going Isaiah Thomas. For one season, he was a top 5 player in the world. So, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, that's
The
I
Celtics
like
on
it.
Isaiah Thomas.
it's hard to go against
I
that.
like it.
I agree. All right.
There's still a really good pick out there, though, that I saw. I was debating between.
All right, let me see if I can get this here. Sean making me do all this research for this draft.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I did this, guys. That's
In-depth
why I did
research.
this.
Ooh, all right.
Go
Well,
for it.
you left it here for me, so I got to take it. I'm going with our guy, former Cleveland Cavalier, Terrell Brandon.
Damn it! That's who I was gonna take.
Just a full-on baller, played in the best jersey era of the Cavs, not player era, not team era, obviously, but best Cavs
Two-time
jersey
All-Star.
era. Two-time All-Star. Was also shared the backcourt at one point with another guy under 6 feet, which will probably be taken this draft at some point. But was the man. And one of my favorite players, just super flashy, super exciting, could throw it down at his height. And I'm just gonna have some fun out there. Like, this is a fun blacktop backcourt.
Yeah, you stole him from right underneath of me. You know my affinity for late 90s Cavaliers, and he's one of them. So he played on an all-star team that also included Michael Jordan.
Yep.
So
Sure did.
I mean, think about that. So all right, am I up?
Yep. You got 2.
Okay. I got 2. Okay. So all right, this is gonna be tough. So I think I'm gonna go, and this is more of just a nostalgic thing. Current assistant coach for the Boston Celtics, Mr. Damon Stoudemire, one of my favorite Toronto Raptors of all time. He was the NBA Rookie of the Year in 1996. His career averages of 13 points a game and 6 rebounds in the best season he ever played, the 96-97 season. 20 points a game, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and a steal. And he played in 81 of 82 games. Pretty incredible.
That's a great pick. I love Mighty Mouse. Love Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse. Yes,
Rookie of the year.
Yeah. All right, I got another one.
This your third.
All right. I got to do it. I got to take him off the board, guys. Got to be done. The shortest player in NBA history, Mr. Muggsy Bogues. I am taking him. He is, and this is just, he never made an all-star team, but he is one of the most fun players of the 1990s. I have a lot of good memories of watching him and just seeing every other NBA player tower over him. But played in the league for a long time. I mean, he started in 1987, and where he played on the same team with the tallest player of all time, Manute Bol.
Yep.
Kind of funny that they both paired together for one season. Ended his career in Toronto in 2001. So kind of a pretty decently long career for a very, very small basketball player. And also, he's in Space Jam.
Yep. There's that point too.
Yep.
Space Jam actor. He's got an IM.
Yeah.
Is it IMDb?
IMDb. Yeah, he's on IMDb. Yeah, he's there.
All right. So you take Muggsy, and you also got Damon Stoudemire, which I really wanted, but I'll let it slide because I took
You took Terrell Brandon from me.
Yeah. I mean, Stoudemire is definitely the better player, but give me Dana Barros, because I think Dana Barros, as a guy who literally is the pride of Boston College basketball, at one point shot 40% from 3, was a member of the Retro Sonics with Peyton and Kemp, played for the Celtics twice, literally played high school in Massachusetts, went to Boston College, and was a member of the Celtics twice. So just the pride of Massachusetts, Dana Barros, bring it.
Well, and I think I want to say it was who was the old coach of the Sonics? George Karl.
Yeah,
George. I think someone asked who do you think whose game would really translate into like today's age, and he said Dana Barros. He was like, this guy would be great today.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely agree. All right, Parkers, you got the next 2.
All right, I'm going with my first pick. Great player here. I'm going with Kemba Walker.
Nice.
Is he 6 even?
Six
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a
I
good pick.
did not realize that. I would have taken him.
We blanked. We missed on Kimba.
What was he, a two-time All-Star, I believe? I don't have his stats pulled up. I think he's
Two-time
a two-time
All-Star.
All-Star. But, I mean, he
Greatest-
would have made a lot
One-time
more All-Star teams if he wasn't on a bad roster.
Greatest
Sean is
Hornet.
gone. Greatest Hornet ever. Yeah. Oh, he's a way. Oh, shit. We were way off, Tim. Oh, my God. He's a 4-time All-Star.
He's a
You hear me?
Yeah, he is a 4-time.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's a 4-time All-Star.
He's the greatest
Also-
Hornet ever.
Yeah.
Greatest Hornet ever. That's what I was gonna say, which is
He's,
a lot of people probably wouldn't say, but he is.
He's probably not going to be, but he's borderline for the Basketball Hall of Fame because of his college
Because of
career,
UConn?
too.
That's right.
He might get in because of his college career.
I think he will.
Thinking about it, he probably will because I forgot it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA. So he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer too because, I mean, he was one of the best college players of the early 2010s, won a title, hit that crazy step back shot everybody knows, the ankle breaker.
Yep.
And, just a great player. And I like that pick. We're going to be scoring with this team. And then this is where it gets tough. I'm not really sure who I'm going with here. I think that this is going to be my pick. I'm going to go with him. All right. I'm going with Patty Mills. Won a championship, was a key piece to a championship team.
Yeah.
Been a really solid role player for a long-ass time in the NBA. He's been really good. Nothing crazy, but he's been a really good role player for a long time.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. I love Patty Mills. All right. Well, I'm going with a guy who, like I mentioned, who played with Terrell Brandon for a short time in Cleveland. I'm going with Brevin Knight. This dude played for like 45 NBA teams. Okay, So he was a member of the Cavaliers, the Hawks, the Grizzlies, the Suns, the Wizards, the Bucks, the Bobcats, the Clippers, and the Jazz. Was selected in part of the 1998 draft. Was in the first round by the Cavs. So that's really all I really have to say about him. It's not like he had this amazing career, but I just wanted to be I have Terrell Brandon and Brevin Knight. So I left two really good guys on the board for Sean. So.
All right. So I'm up.
Yep, these are your last two.
These are my last two. Okay, well, I'm going to go with one of the greatest slam dunk champions of all time and one of my favorite Chicago Bulls of all time, Nate Robinson.
Perfect.
This guy could catch fire. 5'9", won 3 dunk contests. Was probably in what was arguably one of the greatest dunk contests of all time with Dwight Howard. But I will never, ever, ever, ever forget that terrible Bulls team that Derrick Rose was out. Robinson got all this extensive time, to play point guard, and they ended up beating the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. And the next game, they went to the semifinals against the Miami Heat, and Nate scored 27 points and 9 assists in game one
that.
to go
Block
over
LeBron
on LeBron. And Steve Kerr, who was calling the game at the time, they might have he quote unquote said they might have to put a statue of this guy outside the building right next to Michael. And they proceeded to lose the next 4 games because they weren't going to let a guy who was 5'9" beat him. But not again.
Not twice.
Not twice. So, but yeah, probably one of my favorite players of all time. Really,
same.
It's super fun. All right, so I have one more pick.
Yep.
Well, I think. Slim, you already took Isaiah Thomas, didn't you,
P did,
Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm gonna have to do it. I'm taking another slam dunk champion. I'm taking Spud Webb.
I knew
you knew it was coming. He's like, I know Sean. All he likes is those dumb high flyers. One-time slam dunk championship. 5'6", smallest person to ever win the slam dunk contest. How did that guy do that?
No idea.
No clue.
How did he do that? He beat Dominique, who I widely believe is the greatest dunker of all time. unbelievable.
Probably is the greatest. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
So my team. So go ahead.
No, go ahead. Summarize your
Yes.
team.
Yeah. So my team: Chris Paul, Nate Robinson, Damon Stoudemire, Spud Webb, and who was the? I'm missing one.
Damon Stoudemire, Chris Paul, Spud
Paul.
Webb,
Nate. Oh, Muggsy.
Yeah, Muggsy. All right.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. My final pick of this draft, because Sean took Spud Webb, which is a really good pick. I'm going to go with another guy who won an NBA championship. Has his jersey retired in the Alamo Dome as a member of the San Antonio Spurs. Former NBA coach, former college basketball coach, Avery Johnson.
Famously got into a spat with Whoopi Goldberg in the movie Eddie.
Yep. Did not realize how many teams he played for. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, Denver, San Antonio, Houston, Golden State, and Dallas.
Good coaching career too.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid. He is he just announcing now, I think.
Yeah.
That's he announces college basketball, I think. For the last pick, I'm gonna go with Darren Collison. Long-time, solid backup point guard and starter in the NBA, journeyman. Really always was a guy like, if they get Darren Collison at the deadline, he was like the
You're a
Caruso
Darren Collison
type.
away.
He was a Caruso type of, like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Like, he was the guy at the deadline. Like, if you get Darren Collison, his defense and facilitating, he was that type of player.
There was one season where Derrick Rose was asked, and I'm trying to think what team Collison was playing for at the time, but they were like, is there still a rivalry between the Bulls and this team? And he goes, nah, not since they got rid of Derrick Collison. So, like he thought highly of Collison. So.
I swear, yeah, he definitely did.
I think it might have been when he was with the Pacers.
It was the Pacers. That's what it was. That's exactly who it was.
Well, that ended up being a pretty fun draft. We'll have to put these teams in 2K and simulate just all like 10 small dudes all like going against each other. I like it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. All right, so it's my turn to pick the next draft. And I've been thinking long and hard about this one. I've been waiting to do this one for a little bit now. We had a little bit of a Bulls-centric conversation here in the middle of the show. So, next week's draft, get your studying together, boys. We're going 1990 Chicago Bulls, not named Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen.
Oh, all right. All right, well, all aboard the Cliff Livingston train.
There we go.
BJ Armstrong, baby.
Shout out Bill Wennington, baby.
BJ, babyface juice.
I do love me some BJ Armstrong.
Horace Grant's gonna look like a goat here. Rodman, ooh.
Bro, Tony Kukoc?
Yep.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll get you guys a list of like the players you don't remember from that era. But
we'll just have to know. You just gotta log into 2K and then just go to the 90s
I'm good.
version of Bulls teams.
I don't need a list, Tim.
I know you don't, but Parker was not born yet.
I wasn't, but honestly, I think I know.
But 2K in the Last Dance probably did a lot.
2K in the Last Dance did a ton. Yeah, so I know.
Somebody better be taking my guy Artist Gilmore.
That was the 90s.
Oh, 90s. So we're talking 90s Bulls. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm definitely down. So
yeah,
Scott Williams. Let's go.
Scott Burrell, who was like the NBA Live 1998 legend.
Bison Daly.
Yeah, Bison Daly. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So we're going to wrap up this week's edition of NBA Friday, part of Riverfront U. Got to do a little bit of housekeeping as always. If you're not a member of the Patreon, please go and do so at patreon.com/RiverfrontCincy. You can come hang out with us on a day-to-day basis. Don't forget to check out all the shows on the Riverfront, including Riverfront Red Show, Late Night Reds, which our last show is going to be Sunday, December 17th, the Christmas Song Draft. Don't forget, you got to be there for that. We'll be doing it live. I'm sure I'm going to take one. Apparently, I enjoying the song "Wonderful Christmas Time" is not good with our community, but I don't care. I still love it.
I hope you pick that number one.
Oh, dude, it depends on who gets number one, but it'll definitely be in the. It's definitely on the board, pretty high up. And of course, Riverfront Bengals show, which I don't know if you want to listen to talk about the Bengals right now. We're doing the best we can over there as well. And if you're listening to us, if you're checking us out on YouTube for the first time, hit that sub. You know the drill. And if you're listening to us on your podcast app of choice, please give us a size subscription and a solid 5-star review. So on behalf of Sean and Parker, this wraps up this week's edition of NBA Friday. See y'all next week.
See you guys.